Hello, 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 and welcome to the Alert Factor. I am Nancy Alert, and I'm the Alert in the Alert Factor. Welcome. I'm happy that you guys are here today, wherever you're watching or listening. Remember, we're here every Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on our TV.network. You can catch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Roku. You can catch us everywhere, okay? And then replay on Facebook or on my YouTube channel. So thank you for visiting with us today. As you know, the Alert Factor is we're all about the luxury lifestyle, real estate, and just everything that's good for us, right? So I have some great news for you guys out there. I'm Nancy Alert, and I'm known as the multifamily expert, right? So I have some game changing information for you. Yes, 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 yes. So, you may have known, or you may know, or you should have known that to purchase a multifamily unit, there are several ways to do it. You can utilize an FHA if you don't already have an FHA loan, which means you just put 3.5%, but you have to live in one of the units, and you can buy only up to 4 units, and you live in one of the units for a minimum of 1 year. That was the thing. FHA would allow you minimum 3.5% down. If you already had an FHA loan for your primary property and was purchasing a multi-unit property, then you had to put 20 or 25% down. Then, of course, I talk about my favorite program for those of you who do not currently own any property but looking to buy a multi-family unit. I always recommend the NACA program, which pays all of your closing costs and your down payments, regardless of your credit score. So we know all of that, right? We also know with NACA, when you're getting free money, you have to do some things. You have to upload your bank statements. You have to go to a one workshop. I think it's a 8 to 4 on a Saturday, virtual or in person. And there's a couple of things you have to keep doing. So I know people don't like to do these, but I'm saying if you're getting free money, just do what you need to do, right? So as of November 18, 2023, get your pen and paper. Guess what's going down? As of November 18, 2023, you can use conventional financing to purchase a 3 to 4 unit with a minimum of 5% down. Doesn't matter if you have an FHA loan, doesn't matter if you already have a multi unit. You can purchase a 3 to 5 unit with the minimum of 5% down. So here's what that looks like. If you already had an FHA loan with either your personal property or a multi unit, you can only have one FHA loan. And there's one minute circumstances where you may be able to have um, a second FHA loan, but let's not even talk about that because that's so outside the realm. It's like almost impossible. So for all intensive purposes, you can only have one FHA loan. So if you have the FHA loan already on your personal property or your investment property, um, chances are, if you were going to go buy a multi-unit or any other property, if it was investment, you would have to put 20 to 25% down. Now you can keep that property you have with the FHA financing on it, whether it's an investment property that you bought first as an investment, I mean, as a personal property, and then you rent it out, or you're currently still living in it as your personal property. You can now go and utilize, keep that FHA financing with that low down payment that you put. And now you can still go and buy another property, a second property, a investment property, 3 to 4 units, and only have to put 5% down. That is a game changer. That is a game changer because for most people, that 25% keeps them out of the game. But now all you have to do is 5% down You in the game. You all the way in the game now. So there's a few lenders that are familiar with this program that's going to be enacted on November 18, 2023. Call me anywhere USA. It doesn't matter what state, what city you're in. You contact me if you're looking to buy a multi-unit building, 3 to 4 units, and you want to utilize the conventional financing with only 5% down. It's a new rule, new law, new program. Just contact me, Nancy Alert. You can reach me at info@nancyalert.com or my cell number 703-861-7355. Or you can reach me on Instagram, the THEE Nancy Alert, the Nancy Alert on Instagram. Or you can also reach out to me on Facebook. So anyone that is interested in purchasing a 3 to 4 unit and you're looking to do that after November 18, 2023, inbox me, contact me, reach out to me. I'm Nancy Alert on everything social media except for Instagram. I'm the Nancy Alert. So that's your information. That's your game changer for November 18, 2023. Contact me so we can get on the ball. We can get started with finding you that property with only 5% down, not 25% down. I'm saying yes, yes, yes. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's start on that road on that journey of generational wealth and creating that legacy. Because remember, multifamily units are not for flipping, they are for holding and for passing on to the next generation. And that's what I'm all about, creating wealth with multifamily units and life insurance products. So inbox me. So today's show, so that was your little tea, your information for today. That is like anybody, everybody, get ready. November 18th. Call me. All right. So today's show, we have our guest, Miss Misty Kerrigan, and she is a business psychologist. And I am so excited to talk to her about her article in Forbes magazine and talk to her about communicating with the millennials, the XYZ generations, all of that. How do we communicate with them in the workplace, in the personal life? And is there a different communication? The answer is yes, yes, yes. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Misty.
Hey, Nancy, how are you?
I am fantastic. I'm fantastic. I'm so happy that you're able to be here with us today. Thank you for joining us. Where are you? Are you in California?
I'm in Southern California. It's a beautiful day. It's
Yes.
gonna
So
hit
I know
90s today.
you in sunny California. What is it? I mean, what is the weather like there right now? Because it's a little chilly here in the DC metro area.
We are having a hot week down here in Southern California, and we've been in the 90s. So we'll be in
Oh
the
my
90s till
goodness.
Saturday.
Oh my goodness. So let me ask you this. How long have you lived in California?
22 years. 22
Oh my
years.
goodness. Oh my goodness. So, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, but I've been here in the DC metro area, Lord, 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 since the mid 80s when I came to Howard University. So I don't know. Can I still hold my New York card or am I a Washingtonian now? Nah, I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker.
It's so funny you say that, as I was born and raised in Arizona. So when
Oh,
anyone
okay.
asks, "Oh, where are you from?" I always say Arizona, and they're like, "Oh, you came Florida." I'm like, "Oh no, I live in California now." And they're like, "How long have you been here?" And I'm like, 23 years. And then people kind of look at me funny.
They're like, no, you're California. No, 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 no. You're here. You're a transplant. Okay. So then you're used to not having seasons. I love the seasons. I love seasons.
Oh no, I've had winter and summer ever since I was born, because Arizona, the same sort of thing. I have gotten to see seasons and leaves, and one time I had to go where there was snow more than one day in a row. Like, you woke up and there was still snow. I was in Canada, and it was the craziest thing to me, because whenever it snowed where I was, it was all gone the next day.
Right. Right. So I like the seasons. I think for me, it keeps you fresh. I couldn't do summer all year round. I just couldn't do it. I like the change. I like the fall. I like seeing the leaves change. I like feeling the little cool breeze because you can bundle up. When you're hot, you just have to stretch. I don't like the 90 and above degrees. Um, so I don't know how I'm gonna do in Dubai because I'm moving to Dubai 6 months out of the year. And I was there in May for my birthday. It was 110 degrees.
That's about right.
And I'm like, my skin is about to fall off. What is this? This is so I'm gonna go there in the winter months.
Oh, I
So I don't
love
have
it.
to worry about it. Yeah. So we are so excited to have you here. Tell the people a little bit about you, Misty.
Outstanding. Well, like I said, I moved to California about 23 years ago because I had a degree in psychology and I wanted to help kids, foster youth, at-risk youth. And so for a few years, I did direct work, just working with kids. And I realized, man, I could help more kids if I create programs. And I got really obsessed with leadership and went back to school and got a master's in industrial organizational psychology and just got curious about why people do what they do.
Right.
Kids, adults, foster youth, at-risk youth, and and really realizing even as adults, a lot of us had trauma. We didn't know it was trauma because that was just everyday life.
Right.
And then I got really interested in the different sort of generations and how we kind of communicate or how we see things. Because I started hearing people like start to gripe, like, and I heard it when I was growing up, and I'm sure you did too, your parents, like when I was a kid or back in my day is always
right.
it's always a fun thing to drop. So I just got excited about learning about people and individuals, and I started to create programs. So I created an independent living skills program for foster youth, and it's year 10 for us, and we're still the most attended program in California. And then I got on with UC Davis, which is a university out here, and I create curriculum and go around the state and get to train it in leadership and burnout. And it gets me into smaller communities and larger cities to just get to know people. And for me, it kept coming back to personalities and generations, just kind of how we're communicating with one another. And
so you create curriculums. You do.
Yeah. So I do workshops or help coaches create certified coaching programs. Everything I love to do is evidence-based or influence so that it's easier to get grants when you set those up right. And I love how you were even talking about the things you have to do to get the money. Sometimes you just have to learn how to find the money, right? And there's billions of dollars in grants left on the table.
No, there is so
for almost every industry.
Exactly, every sector, everything. There's a grant for a one blue-eyed, brown-eyed girl guy out there. I'm telling you, this is the thing that sometimes frustrates me because people are consistently saying, oh, there's not enough money for this, and I can't find this, and she gets that because she is this and he is that. And I'm thinking, well, how about you being a little bit creative? And Google is your friend, right? Just Google. Google is your friend, and most importantly, Google is a free friend. It's a free friend. And now you got Chat, GBT, HBT,
oh my God,
whatever.
AI is changing the game.
Girl, that is changing. That is like, I was talking about a game changer earlier about the changes in the multifamily unit financing sector. AI is like a game changer, okay? And I'm saying, it frustrates me because I remember when I was getting ready to go to Howard University, and I grew up as I don't know what age range you're in, and if you would remember this, I grew up as, or know what this is, I grew up as a latchkey kid.
Yep, Gen Z,
and
Gen
a
X.
latchkey kid, you know what that is?
Yeah, it's Gen X. It was the first generation.
Oh, is that
we had
what I am,
independence.
Gen X?
Yeah, you're Gen X.
Okay, so I'm generational X. So I grew up as a latchkey kid, single mom working, and I knew I wanted to go to Howard University. I also knew we could not afford to pay for college. So I applied for every single grant, scholarships, and then, Philip Morris, the cigarette company, though I don't smoke or whatever, them and some other companies that I found in my food cabinet, I wrote to, and they gave me some money to go to college because I'm like, I'm going to Howard and they better accept me because they're the only place I'm applying and I need some money. So I wrote to the Cup of Noodle people and everybody, and I didn't get millions of dollars, but what I got was when I graduated with my degree, I didn't owe any money.
That is
Right.
worth
And
millions
today,
today.
that is one of my proudest moments, right? Graduating with your bachelor's degree and you don't have a debt attached to you. So I don't know if it's we're resourceful as generational X, or I don't know if it's because I was born somewhere else. I was born in South America. I have a different mindset. I don't know.
Yes.
But what I do know is, or trying to understand, and maybe you can help me, is why are these parents mortgaging their homes, getting in debt for these kids to go, these privileged kids to go to the school they want to go to, not the in-state where you get free or reduced tuition, but to the Ivy League, expensive. And don't most people know if you go to an in-state college for 2 years, then you're able to go to any of the other ones, right? And then maybe by then you get your own darn money and not have your parents locking themselves down for life for you. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Every generation raises their kids with what they've lacked. We want to give them what we didn't have. And I remember, if you remember, this is, I always do this for a test when I speak, and for Generation X's. Do you remember at 10 at night, there would be like a beep, and then it would be a
Do you
public
know where your
announcement.
children are?
Yes! That was a public announcement to ask our parents, one, did you remember you have children? Do you know where your children are? And two, do you know where we're at? Because
No,
we
I
had
always
so
found that
much.
to be interesting.
I say freedom, but I also say responsibility, because Nancy, you brought up a great point. The generation that we came up with was the first time for, like, especially single parents, or as we started to see in the economy, two parents working. So if you were the oldest, it didn't matter if you were 10, you were in charge of all the siblings under you, homework, bedtime, dinner, bath time, right? And then the parent would come home and yell at you, why didn't your siblings get everything done? And so,
as if you were the parent.
yes, and we would joke that we were trying to leave home at 18 to have less responsibilities, not get out to have more.
Yes. Hello, me leaving New York to go to DC. I'm like, because I was responsible for my brother. I had to get on 2 trains and a bus every morning to take my brother to school and myself, right? I get on the D train, go drop him off, get back on the D train, go to Sheepshead Bay, get off there, take a bus to Sheepshead Bay High School. I did that every day.
And you weren't asked to. Like, and I love that, because our parents, because a lot of us were raised kind of just, here's your responsibility. A lot of the parents that started to raise these millennials and Z-millennials and X and now alphas were really like, I want them to have a childhood. I want them to have a childhood. So it kind of started to extend, but other variables too. And I love this. I made a lot of multimillionaires that come poor from other countries. They just come with nothing. Maybe the clothes off their back, or their parents did, and now they're multimillionaires. And I love interviewing them and just kind of seeing what the difference is if you were born and raised here, belief wise. Because I truly believe, having psychology for over 23 years, is the things we believe to be true, we create. Mm-hmm. The things we believe to be true, we create. And I love how you were like, I'm going to Howard. And you were so determined to go to Howard, you wrote letters to companies that weren't asking you to.
Right.
You were going to find a way, right? Now I'm so excited, because I do want to jump on this. Man, you are such position very, very excitingly. The multi-generational homes, right? You're talking about apartment buildings and stuff.
Yes, I'm talking about multi-family units, anything 2 and above.
That is, Nancy, that is where to be. I can't tell you enough. I want you to understand the variables that are about to hit. In the next 5 years, 75% of the workforce is going to be millennial and younger, because Gen X, we're not that big. We're not that big of a generation, because we had the boomers before us, which was the biggest generation we've seen, until the millennials. So the millennials outpopulate the boomers, and the boomers are retiring. About 10,000 boomers per day are moving into retirement. So you have all these positions, and now you have the millennials that are going to be 75% of the workforce. Now you have this new generation that's being told, don't go to college and don't buy a house. I don't know if you've seen all these speakers and all these, like if you're in debt and you don't want a house, you want to be able to be free, and they're not connecting, you're still going to have some sort of rent or mortgage, right?
Right.
I live in Southern
and the
California.
Rents are high. Because what
Yes.
people don't realize, since World War II, what was that, 1940, whatever, rents have been increasing. They're not going down, people. Hello, people.
Oh.
They are going up. And right now, the rents are ridiculous in the DC metro area. Alexandria, anywhere in the city, you're looking for a one-bedroom, condo, apartment, what have you, it's anywhere from $1,800 to $2,900 a month.
And then
Can you
that
wrap
goes
your
away.
head
Like when
around
you
that?
pay rent, I pay rent, and it goes to the other person's dreams. It goes to the other person's property. It goes to the other person's taxes.
It's
It goes to the
building
other,
their
right?
portfolio. It's creating their generational wealth, right? It's
Yes.
creating the legacy for their families. So here's the thing, what you brought up. I tend to want to go with half of what was being said. Don't buy a house, don't go to college. So here's the thing. For me, I don't think college is for everyone. I think it gives you structure and maybe help you be able to deal with people in your life as you go forward. It doesn't teach you how to make money. It doesn't teach you how to become an entrepreneur. It doesn't teach you
Oh.
how to leverage. It doesn't teach you how to make money, save money, keep money.
It doesn't teach you finances.
It doesn't teach you any of that. But for some people, they need that structure. And if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, please go to college, okay? I want you to go to college. If you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you building these roads and streets that I'm on, go to college, please. All right? Everybody else, you don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you. But what I'm saying is you don't have to indebt yourself, right? Because you can still be productive. You can still be everything you want to be without that college degree. But if you want it, go get it. But don't put yourself and your parents in debt for it. Okay? Don't do it. And for the people that are saying don't buy a house, I want to agree with them. Not that don't buy real estate. I'm like, don't buy a house. Don't. Your first property, hear me, people. And I know I get really amped up when I'm talking about multifamily, because I know this is one of the best ways for you to create wealth, for you to create a legacy, for you to never ever have to worry about I'm gonna be homeless. My children is not gonna have a place to live. I'm not gonna have any money to buy food. I'm telling you, yeah, don't buy a condo, don't buy a house, but what you should buy, because I don't like to tell people what they should do. So I'm going to say my suggestion to you, right? Better? My suggestion to you is look into buying a 3 to 4 unit. And that should be the first property you purchase. Because here, I used to tell people, because the first one you buy is the first time you're going to actually be able to utilize the low down payment. But before we get into that and then talk about all the generations, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to talk to you about all the generations, the millennials, the X, the Y, the Z, the Alphas, everybody. We'll be right back with Misty Kerrigan.
Time. It has a different meaning in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It goes backwards, forwards, it stops. St. Croix is rooted in history. So much of it still remains untouched.
I remember running on these streets as a kid. This shop was right down there. It opened the same year I was born. This is where the original Crucian hook was born. It's the symbol of these islands. wanted to have my hands in that very same history. I want to be able to pass it down to my family while still putting a new spin on it.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, we have an amazing culture that developed over time from all over the world.
St. John feels so untouched. Being underwater is like another world. There's no worries, there's no stress. I can just escape. This is my happy place. My passion for scuba diving came at just being fascinated with the water and wanting to be a mermaid. And this is the closest thing I can get to achieving mermaid status. Canadians just love being outdoorsy. We live for adventure, so we love anything hiking, being on the water, diving, snorkeling, and St. John has it all.
It's like some spirit is protecting the island and keeping them raw. The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away. The nightlife in St. Thomas is absolutely amazing. There's always something going on. Everyone comes together to dance and catch a vibe. We're always celebrating. We celebrate freedom, culture, the food, the smell, the music. It's always a celebration. The people here are probably the most priceless thing because they keep the culture going. There's so many different influences on these islands. Food from all kinds of countries coming together in new dishes. All of us came from somewhere, but all of we call this home. The VI is a new melting pot. This is where the past and the future comes together.
Get up and get going with V Plus Energy. Challenge yourself and your friends to get up every day and get going. Grab your favorite V Plus flavor and tackle the day. Get excited and get energized with V Plus. It's made with 100% real fruits and veggies. There's no way you could crash, unlike other traditional energy drinks that you don't know what the hell is in there. Chemicals and other unpronounceable ingredients that you wouldn't give to your mama. Get V Plus. Healthy energy with none of the sacrifice. Get going at drinkvplus.com.
All right, we're back. You're watching and listening to the Alert Factor, where everything real estate and luxury lifestyle meet. Today, we're talking to Misty Kerrigan, business psychologist. So, Misty, what I'd like for if you can break down for me, right? What are so we know that when we're dealing with man-woman relationship, woman-woman relationship, or friends, or just working friendship, personal relationship, business relationship, we're dealing with people on different levels, different processes. They grew up differently, so they think differently, they work differently. But then what we didn't add into the pot to make it a big old soup was not only everybody have their own little personalities and their own like where they grew up with, their culture and different things that make them who they are and make them respond and communicate how they do, right? Now we got to throw in there. Well, also, you got to add in whether they're a millennial, whether they're Generation X, Y, Z, and what's the other one? Is it an Alta?
Alpha.
Alpha? So tell us, please, how do we communicate differently, or how do these groups communicate differently?
So we really are kind of shaped by our childhood by the time we're 5 and then by the time we're 10. And so the things going on in the world around us, or even in our micro world, which is home, macro, which is the bigger world going outside, we're shaped by those that we're most around's beliefs and what they say every day. Right. And I think you teach it too, is don't say we can't afford it. Say, what is that going to take to get it?
Yes.
Don't look at, it's 25% down. Now it's 5. So instead of I can't afford it, is how can we afford that?
Yes.
Right. So it's just shaping little different things, because each generation is shaped by the major events. So I was so funny, because my joke is I was in multi-generation from the minute I was born, because I was raised by my grandparents. I'm adopted. So my grandparents are from the traditionalist, which is the old school generation. And they come they survived the Great Depression.
Right.
My grandfather was in World War II. They remember a time where there was no TV and they just sat by a radio. And they
was there a
walked
time when
both
there
ways
was no
in the snow.
TV?
So they are very much old school values. And I was always taught, get a job and get security. Get a job and get security. In fact, the word entrepreneur, I don't think it was invented when I was growing up. It was really like, get a government job, or get a job that pays you.
Look, be a
has
nurse,
benefits.
be a secretary, go to the army, right?
Right. Something because they didn't have security growing up, right? So they're
Right.
very, very traditionals, and they're very, like, work hard. And the harder you work, the more you get. So their values are different than, say, the values now of millennials, because they weren't raised the same way. Millennials, what really shaped millennials was, if you think about it, was like Columbine, 911. Like, so every day is normal until a major crisis event then shifts all our beliefs at once. And then, our millennials were kids in 2008. So some of our millennials were like living a great life, and all of a sudden they're coming home and they're moving, or they're downgrading, or, you're watching your parents go through the stress or lose their businesses. Right. So you have these millennials that they have really like a decrease of trust for the bigger systems. And they're very more connected to, if you think about in their worldviews, like, what are we going to do to change the world?
Right.
What are we going to do to come together? And that inspired our younger generation coming up, which is Gen Z, which is all about community. So they're very more community, and the generation after them, which are teens now, will be even more about community. They're walking out of high schools now. They're already kind of doing grouping as a bigger group, and they care about the environment, and they care about what is your business doing for others. And that's why you've seen over the last 10 years, companies like Tom's, buy shoes, give shoes. There's a place in the mall where we go and we buy like cute little Star Wars things, and it's called Lunchbox. And whatever I buy, part of money buys someone lunch. Like it goes into the local shelters and it buys meals, because they're really looking for, what does your business do to give back? Not just what does your business do. Is your business, and you've seen it now. All these laws are starting to shift, and you're going to see it. Are they environmentally competent? Do they decrease this and that? So I'm very excited, because when you're looking at the thing that you are able to help people with, Nancy, and Nancy is someone to just call and get information from. We spent a weekend together on a leaders retreat, and I was just like taking notes. She's really dedicated to generational wealth and helping kind of like, I want to say millennials and older and our Gen X, really like, hey, money's there. You just got to shift it. You have to shift it. You don't have to go out and get 5 new jobs, which is sometimes what people think when it comes to you really just have to look at where it's now and how to shift it. But when you're looking at these, they're telling these kids, when I grew up, it was home. You want a house with a yard and a dog, and your first be the most amazing thing ever. Well, now I walk my neighborhood, and they're calling apartments homes now.
Yes.
And so that's kind of shifting to like, oh, this is your first home. I walk by a neighborhood, it's brand new houses coming up, and they say brand new houses for rent.
Yes.
So things
Isn't
are
that
already
crazy?
starting to shift.
Yeah.
So this is an amazing market for and investors because our younger generations want community. They don't. When we were growing up, we're like, I don't want anyone on my roof, right? When I had to live on the first floor of an apartment, and here I'm like, I can't wait till I have my own house, and we're a little bit more independent, so we wanted to live away from people. We didn't want to be too close to the neighbors. We didn't want to go to potlucks every night, right? In our generation, we wanted to work. We want to go make money and work and hit that next achievement. This generation, they want a community. They want to commune. So if you're building your apartments and you have like a space where they all meet, they're all going to meet.
Right.
They
Exactly.
want to
You have
stay
the
connected.
community room, you have the exercise room, you got the
Yes.
party room, you got the pool, and then you have the lobby with the beautiful furniture where you can just gather and meet. Yeah.
That's what they are. That was kind of what they wanted growing up, and for the first time ever. And I think it's sad when people are like, "Oh, you know, it's so horrible. We all had to live with our parents, or the kids are living in with their parents longer." We're one of the only United States is one of the only places that doesn't just have that in our culture. Like in other cultures, you live with your parents when they're too old to take care of themselves. You take care of them. You live generationally in one house, or you build houses so that generations can stay together and still have that Sunday dinner, that family connection. Whereas somehow in America, we got like, move away. And then everyone's homesick, and now we're depressed, and now we have anxiety. And because we're losing that foundational family connection, which 2020 showed us, it's still there. It is still there. We just got to make time for it. And we got to embrace that generational living is not a bad thing. It actually can help us connect and us help one another. But also you're going to get some of those things that we've lost foundationally when it came to everyone's going to church on Sunday. Everyone's eating together dinner. Everyone is gathered around playing a board game, if you will. Even if it's a virtual board game now, it's that connection and community that these younger generations crave, because Gen X didn't have that. We had independence and we had more responsibility. We raised our kids to want it, to need it, if you will.
So is that what you're saying? So us as Generation Xers, we are raising our children or bringing up the next generation to be more connected, be more family oriented. Is that what I'm hearing? Because we
Absolutely.
didn't have that. We didn't have that. I didn't know what that was, that dinner on the table, everybody sitting together having dinner. I mean, we didn't do that growing up. I mean, of course, I know we knew we were loved and everything, but we didn't have that. So you're saying that the millennials and the Y and Zs, they have that?
They have that need for connection. They have that need for how are we impacting others? When if you look, even if you look at the brands, which I love when I teach them my classes, because I just love like seeing, like, you could tell a generation by what they embrace in a brand, and then you could create your company to be more like that brand if that's the generation that is your niche and that you target.
So this is all good for me and business people, right?
Oh,
People
yeah.
that have services and products, because then we know definitely which generation we're targeting, which is our best target market, and how to reach them, because what it is that they're looking for, right?
Absolutely. And it's hard because we have to step outside of ourselves, and then you'll hear some of the older generation, like the younger generation, isn't hardworking. They don't have values. They're not like we are.
They're
The crazy
entitled.
part is that for the first time in history, they're not looking to be billionaires or millionaires. They're looking to, like, I could go to TikTok, make $60,000 a year as much as my dad did as a doctor. Why would I be away from my family, and why would I work so hard? Gen X actually invented well-being and work well-being, and we wanted balance. But that was later on in life. But our kids now, that's why you have silent quitting. I don't know if you've heard that, or you
What
have,
is
like, right now we have
quitting?
Have you heard of silent quitting?
No.
So you probably heard it when people say, that's above my wage. That's above how
Pay
much I
grade.
make, or that's above my pay grade. I don't get paid to do that. That's not my job. So we were raised, you work hard, you go above and beyond. And so we that translated into our work. And you know what? Not all generations are all equal. There is some millennials that workaholics. There is some Gen X that care about this is just on an average of the generational experience, but it definitely matters what country you were born and raised in, because different countries have different
Culture.
values.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the United States is when we meet with my younger millennials or I'm coaching zillennials, if you can get their passion connected in, they're just as hardworking. It's just that we value different things in the different generations, and then it confuses us why the other generation doesn't value what we do.
So this is like paying attention to the disc when you're hiring someone.
I love
right?
the disc.
Because as a real estate professional and a financial professional, I'm dealing in service. So it would be in my best interest, it would behoove me to understand what makes the millennials tick, what makes the XYZ and then the alphas. I mean, in order for me to be able to work with them and understand them, right? And give them exactly what it is that they're looking for, you have to put the work in and research. And I think most importantly, it comes back to communication, listening, right? Listening to what they're saying to you, that this is what we want, this is who we are, this is how we want to move. I love that. So how do you, as a business psychologist, how do you help businesses maneuver through that and learn what it is that they need to do? And how do you help them scale their businesses by focusing on what the generations need?
Well, I love coming in and helping them create customer journeys, because even if you serve more than one generation, their journey might look different. And I love using the example of, if you go to a restaurant, do you want to scan something or do you want a damn menu in your hand? And you could see that kind of spread out by the generation. It makes me laugh.
I want a menu in my hand.
You want a menu.
I don't want to scan nothing, because then I got to squint. I got to get the glasses. I got to try to open it because I can't see it. And then I don't see all the food. And no, I want a menu. I don't want a book like, what's that restaurant that gives you a book?
The Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. I don't want that. I don't want a book, but I do want a menu in my hands.
Yes. Some generations don't. They want to scan because they think the menu, is not good for the environment, especially if it's paper and they just throw it away. So,
and also with COVID and all of that, it's like, which you think about it, right? 50 million people touching it every day. Are you really wiping that down? Come on, the germs.
No, they're not. I've seen it.
Now I might want to scan something, just thinking about the germs, but normally my natural self, I want to touch it.
And that's how we want to print it. We want it in our hands, right? And so if you're correlating that, I love that you talked about the disc. So I let's say I'm a realtor and I have people coming, if I knowing they're kind of, are they D's? Are they, like they just want to kind of a quick tour. They don't want me to like, oh, and over here is the flower bed. They don't care. Like, how much is it? Did it meet everything I already sent you? Because D's will already send you the things, right? Like, right. They don't care. I'm not even coming unless it met the top 5. Like, don't take me to a 4, right? They're very dominant.
Exactly.
Now the S's, they're going to be there early. They want to help you open the door. Can they help? Should they sweep while they're there? They would love the bedroom to bedroom and asking them questions about like, what are your plans here? Or you have children, or do you know anyone in the area? You get them connecting and talking. They're going to connect more to you. The eyes, you have them make it fun. Hand them pictures. They're not going to read anything.
Right.
You bounce through the house pretty fast. They don't care about too much. They're already on their phone anyway. And then the C's, they want the binder, right? They want, where's all the information? Where's they've already done their study. So, like you're always just being prepared to meet their just personality needs of how they connect.
So how would you categorize, using the disc, right? How would you categorize the millennials, X, Y, Z, and alpha?
So the first thing I would do was the X's, because we're very much now we're about balance. Mm-hmm. And depending on which area, the D, the I, the S, the C, right? I would have it in writing like, if it's about balance, where's the local gym? What are we looking for as Gen X, right? Not too much, maybe the schools, but that's more millennial now. We're getting a little older, maybe grandchildren, right?
We're looking for the hospital. Where's the hospital?
Yes.
And the grocery store.
The grocery store, the hospital, the ease to things, right? The safety of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Now the millennials and X, like they're looking for like, what are the schools? Where are the local things that I could take my kids? The parks. I would have ready, especially for them, is like, here's soccer, here's the different thing, and for everyone. What I appreciate, I read a book about ninja salesmen by accident. I didn't know it was for realtors, but it was one of the best sales book I ever read. And he made such a great point about, even if you're just a one and done sort of transaction, you could stay connected because other people want to recommend you.
Right.
So I do a whole program on referral marketing, because referral marketing is the highest form of marketing. It's the easiest for us as a business to close faster, keep the customer longer, and have them be excited because they're already coming from a referral based.
Right. Right.
So having that is, I don't care if you sell one house to one person, they're going to know people. We ask our friends, do you know a good realtor?
Yeah, and who doesn't? I think everybody knows at least 3 realtors.
And which
But
one
the
would you
question
choose?
is, and also just like with, it's different dealing with the different generations and stuff. They're different realtors. Not every realtor is made the same, and not every realtor can do the same thing. You have residential realtors that sticks to finding you your ever-loving home, the one that you're gonna cry if you don't get, and then you get the ones like me that focuses on investors because it's about the ROI, right? It's about the return on your investment, and then I add the ROR to the return on the relationship as well, right? So the ROR and the ROI is what I like working with, and I like working with investors because it's a different mindset, right? Because they come in and they don't even necessarily need to see the property. Nancy, how much money am I going to make? When am I going to make this money? Am I going to make it now? Am I going to make it later? Am I going to make some now and a lot later? Am I going to make none now, but a whole lot later? These are the things they want to do. When you're working with a homeowner, they just want what the heart wants, right? Oh, I fell in love. They're like, no, show me how you're going to elevate my bank account, Nancy. And I like
They
that.
care about their kitchen.
Exactly. The granite and the corian and all that stuff. But dealing with the millennials and the XYZ, everybody, and the baby boomers, what letter signifies the baby boomers?
They're just
Or
the
are they
baby
just the
boomers.
baby boomers? They're the baby boomers. Okay. So they're the ones with all the money right now, right?
They actually have, millennials are gaining on money, but baby boomers have money to invest, but some of them
Yes.
don't have the trust or the connection, right? Because the different generations. So if you're younger than them, they're already skeptical, and usually people about their age are already retired. So I
Right.
think for investors is really looking at, how do we still help boomers really connect to that? You still can create generational wealth, because some of the baby boomers don't think they can. They don't, like,
Right.
I'm in my 60s, or I'm hitting my 70s, or if I didn't buy my house 80 years ago, I can't make money. So
Right.
it really just is looking at is, how do you help build that relationship with them? And they're going to invest a little. They're not going to give you the whole farm, if you will.
Right.
But if you're a great investing business and educational business, and you get them, and then you do build a relationship, you could have them do a little bit of investment where they can experience it. They're going to want to invest more, and they're going to tell their friends. We're usually about 5 deep, the 5 people we hang around.
Exactly.
So if something's working for them, we're going to want it.
Right, exactly. And that's what I was thinking about, is getting over that trust part, for the, baby boomers to say, look, you're retiring or retired. You need to not come up with new money, but shift the money. Shift the money from where it was working all these years, and this is what you got. Shift it over here so you can have this, so you can live that life in retirement without having to ask, what does that cost? Or I can't do that because I'm on a fixed budget. You have to switch what you've been doing, and it's all about change. If you don't change, you're stagnant. You're not making any money, not moving forward. Somebody else is going to come take over. Because people out here saying AI, ChatGPT is going to take your job. And no, the person that's using ChatGPT is going to take your job, not ChatGPT. Okay, that's who's going to take your job. So don't get it twisted. Get it correct. You need to get involved. You need to jump in. You got to change. So before we wrap up, when is your article coming out in Forbes?
It'll come out in hopefully the beginning of 2024. We're crafting it. We're getting it. We have a couple other views on it. What I wanted to do is write an article from a couple different generation perspective on generations on how to sell, work, and lead with. Because I also do a lot of trainings when it comes to staff trainings, or I do executive coaching for how do you lead the new generations, and then sales. How do we create sales journeys for customers based on their values? And that's where I wanted the article to come from. But I wanted that sort of view from, instead of me telling you what the view is, you have a Gen X telling you why, or a Gen Z, right, in the conversation, and a baby boomer. Now we have a few. I want to give because Nancy, I love you, and I want to give everyone a quick idea. Those baby boomers, take them to lunch and give them education. If they're retired, they're lonely, they're home, they don't want to be around big crowds because they're scared of COVID, but they love education, but they love being treated. So you want to take maybe one or two out to lunch and give them some education about these amazing investments where they could shift. That's the first touch point, because they're getting out of the house and they're feeling valued.
I like that. See, that's a little nugget for you guys. Whatever sales industry you're in, look, they have disposable income. They are looking, like you said, to connect with people, but not on a mass scale. Connect with the one-on-one.
No, they want
give them
that
the education.
They
give
want
them
that
the
white glove
education.
touch.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love it. This was not enough time. You and I are going to have to do a part 2, and especially when the article comes up, we have to do a part 2 because this was not enough time. But what I do realize is I do want to talk with you later about helping me create these workshops.
Absolutely. That's what I do.
I know. I know. I do need that. I'm going to need you to help me create these workshops. Yes. So
I'm telling you, in the last 10 seconds, the last thing I want to tell you is these people, if they're not going to college, they're going to be entrepreneurs and have businesses. You need to shift some of the things you do into education, because that's what they'll be paying for. If they're not going to college, they're still going to need certifications and education. Start to shift your business, especially if you're in the real estate industry. You're going to have more people interested in it.
And that's what I've done. I started the last 5 years, right? That's why I do the coaching and the consulting now.
Yes.
And that's why I need you to collaborate with you to do the workshops, right? Because mine is all about teaching. I want to give you the information so that it's like I tell people, I lost millions in the real estate industry, so you don't have to, right? That is my thing. I lost millions, so you don't have to. I want to teach you. This is not the road. This is the road. This is the direction. Because when people say what you don't know won't hurt you, I think that's one of the biggest lies ever told. Okay? So, as we're wrapping up, tell the people how they can reach you for your workshops, helping coaching businesses and everything.
So you can find me on social media at Misty Kerrigan. It was Facebook or thing. But if you're looking for it, I have written a referral guide, how to do referrals. If you text the word rave, so that you could have raving fans, rave, RAVE, to 26786. 26786, text the word rave, you're going to get a copy of that, how to first start create some referral programs. Let's get you word of mouth referrals in and get your business to that next level.
All right. So remember, text 26786, text the word rave, like you're going to a rave, or you have raving fans. All right. I am so excited. I'm so glad that you spend this hour with us today, and I'm looking forward to us doing part 2. We have Misty Kerrigan. You were watching and listening to The Alert Factor. I'm Nancy Alert, getting it done every day. See you next time.